Okay, so today we're going to go ahead and start creating an image gallery. Now, I've set up a template here. I've already linked to our main CSS, which I have here. I have a bunch of images here. So what we need to do is kind of look at our images and kind of look and see the size and shape of our images when we're dealing with this. You want to have as many like images on one line as possible. If they're square, then that's great. If they're oblong, that's fine too, but have it, whatever you have, kind of group them together so that when you line them up and they are sitting side by side, they look nice. So I've gotten a bunch of this stuff here. So I've got a bunch of them here. I've already kind of gone through this. So I kind of know what I'm going to try to accomplish here. So the first thing I want to go ahead and do is I'm going to surround this entire thing with a div class for image gallery. And the reason for this is that I'm building a section that I can put into anything else. I'm building this object called an image gallery. To do that, I'm just going to type in image gallery as a class. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is design the first section. So at the top, I'm going to go ahead and start designing this. Inside here, I'm going to divide this all up with section. I'm going to have an H1 tag in here. And let's go ahead and then put in a figure tag. Inside the figure tag, I'll have some sort of image and then a fig caption. So this is the basic structure here for this first top section. We'll go ahead and start filling some of these in, and when I come back, I'll have my screen set up with my web browser on the side. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. So let's go ahead and I'm going to call this the lab collection right here. Inside the figure tag, I'm going to go ahead and put the source in for this one, which is img. You can see it right here. And we'll go ahead and put the lab rainbow here up top. Okay. Lab puppy rainbow. I'm going to go ahead and keep hitting save so you can kind of see it. It's going to be rather large and kind of obscure until I get actual information in. But labs come in a rainbow of colors. Awesome. So now I kind of have a caption here too. Okay. So this is the first part of my thing, and then I'm going to go ahead and start doing a 2. I'll show you a side by side, and then a 3 on the bottom. So I'm going to kind of create a pyramid of sorts. But you can replicate each of these sections if you have more pictures you want to put side by side, or more pictures you want to put 3 across. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is finish up here, and I have this inside of a section. And the next one, I'm going to go ahead and kind of repeat this. So I will have another section, and then inside this section, I don't need a header now, so I'm just going to use the figure. I'll have an image, and then I'll have a fig caption. Okay, and this right here is going to be replicated again right below this. So in this section, I'm going to have 2. So I can actually type everything in, or I can just copy and paste it from the other screen. I'll go ahead and do that. But this is the basic structure just like this. And this is me filling everything in. So I have my image here. And then I have my fig caption. I'm going to hit save. Now all of these are literally going to be on one picture until I get to the CSS. But you'll see here, now I want to do one of 3. So if I come down here and I put in another section, I'll go ahead and put in a section right here. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to put in a class of 3. This way I can differentiate between the section with 2 and a section with 3. So I'll go ahead and type in the same thing here, but there'll be 3 pictures here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that in. Okay. All right, so let me get this up here just like this. All right, so in the first section right here, I just had the H1 tag and 1 solid figure. In this section right here, I have 2 figures right here and right here, same thing. In this section right here, I have 3. There we go. I have 1, 2, and 3. Now, why did I put all these here in this order? Because honestly, they're roughly the same size again. You know, they're either all square or they're tall. So that's basically what I did here. Okay, so I'm going to save. This is the copy that I have, which is what HTML is. It's called a copy. And the pictures are all roughly the same size. So we're going to actually start with some CSS now so that we can go ahead and start formatting these into a nice format. All right. So the first thing I want to go ahead and do is I'm going to use the star. Now, we had talked about border box all the time, and what border boxes, remember, is that when I have a 200 by 200 object, the padding and the margin and the border all go inside. So it helps me line up everything here, and this is how you use it. So if I come up with box sizing and border box, and I hit save, this will now put this in here. So this is the key for this throughout the entire document. The star or the asterisk at the top tells everything that, hey, do this for every single object on the screen. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and start with is my body. Let's give this a nice background of like a beige. So there we go with the beige. So the first thing I want to go ahead and do is I want to put this lab collection in the center. So I'm going to preface everything I have here with .ImageGallery, that class. And there's a reason for that. I'm trying to create this so that when I move this, if I want to copy my image gallery to another assignment or another project, you can, because the CSS properties we're using here are not going to interfere with anything else that has a figure or a section in it. So we're going to go ahead and put in image gallery, H1, and open this up. Now if I hold my mouse cursor over this, you'll actually see the element class and then H1. So it's going to look for a class of image gallery first, and then all of the H1 tags in this class are going to follow these rules. Now we'll go ahead and text align center, and then we'll do a font size. We'll do a 3M font size, and that will put that up there, no problem. All right. So now I have my title centered here. Now we're going to go ahead and start working on some of these images. Let's get these images kind of more manageable. So we'll do image gallery. We'll do a figure, because that's the next thing I want. And inside that figure tag, I want to use the image. So if I do this, it comes up with that hierarchy. The class of looks for class of gallery, then it looks for your figure, then it looks for image. So we're going to go ahead and use display block. Okay, that basically just takes that and makes all of them, after you display the image, it basically, in essence, returns. Puts a return character in here. I'm going to go ahead and type in a width of 450 pixels. So that will actually help me out a little bit there. And I'm going to keep this height of auto. And we do that for the aspect ratio so that we're not having, a puppy with a giant thin face or a long face. And then let's go ahead and do a quick border radius here. And we'll do like a 15 pixels. That should make a little curve here on our pictures and kind of give them a little extra. I do want to make sure that I have some space in between these. So I'll do a margin bottom of 1.25 EM. Now, EM is just a measure here. If you are dealing with like 15 points here, it'll take 15 times 1.25 EM, or basically 15 times 1.25, and that's the actual pixels you'll actually be using. The default for the web is 16, so take 16 times 1.25, and that's what this would come out to be. All right, so all of these pictures now are pretty much the same. Do you kind of see how they're kind of roughly very equal in width, and the height is kind of there? So I have one picture, then two pictures, and then three. That's the best I can do at this point for that. So now what we need to do is let's go ahead and start with running through on each of these. Let me move this up here. Do an image gallery, and let's do the figure. All right, so inside the figure I want to go ahead and put some I'll do a display, and I'll use inline block, which says take all of these figures together and put them in a line. When you get to the last one, hit return. Okay, so we do that. All right, and now we can do some padding. I'll use the 1.25 EM again, and I'll give you some little extra padding between all of them. Let's put a background on each one of these, and we'll use tan. So we now have a tan background on there. Then we need, let's see. You know what? Let's use a brown background on this one. We'll make this brown, and then we'll go ahead and use that tan for the captions. All right, so we'll put a little border radius on this one also. Oops. There we go. So now everything's nice and rounded here. All right, so the next thing I want to do is, if you notice, I still haven't done anything about the size on this one. Okay, so let's just keep going, and I'll show you how we do all this. So we're going to go ahead and do our image gallery, figure, and then the fig caption. All right, so let's move this up. So we'll do a display block, and that will be fine. And let's do the text align center. That will center now the text underneath. We'll increase the font size to 1.5. That makes it a little bit bigger. If you don't like the EMs, somewhere around the 20 pixel, maybe 22. Something along those lines. That would be fine. All right, and let's do the background here of tan. So that makes a nice little contrast there. Let's add some padding. Now I'm using padding it this way because I can actually, I'll use 15 pixels. Just to put a little bit around everything. So if I leave a padding like this, remember it does basically what you have is top, right, bottom, left. And you can use it that way for each one of these. So this is a shorthand basically saying padding top, padding bottom, padding left and right all have 15 pixels. And that's basically what it comes down to. All right, so we have that, and then we'll go ahead and do a quick border radius of another 15 pixels. Make things nice and round all over here. Okay, So this is what we have for each of our things here. So if we're going down here, just like this, everything now has a nice border. They look nice. And now we can sit down and start working on the actual sections themselves. So if I was to maximize this right now, do you see how that changed? The reason why is that I did those inline blocks. Now they're on each of their things here, but if there's not enough space in your window or your web browser, they're going to go to the next line. That's just the nature of the beast. So you need to make sure you understand that when you're dealing with this. It's not going to look like that when you're at full size screen. All right, so let's go ahead and start doing a little bit more centering on this. So the first thing I want to go ahead and do is come up with my image gallery. And I'm going to start working on these section tags inside of here. Now, just for here, each of these section tags are up here. So here's the section tag of 3. Then we have the section tag enclosed with 2. And we had another section tag, remember, with the header or the title and one hero image per se. Hero image is nothing more than the top image there. All right, so let's go ahead and stick a width of 85%. And this will go ahead and create 85% of the screen on each of these tags. Now I'm going to put in something here just so you can see. Now this is part of what I do when I need to see how everything is working. I put in a 1 pixel border here, and you'll actually see this here. You see this little pixel border here? This tells me, like, here's one section right here. This is the second section of 2, and then the third section is 3. So it kind of shows me how things are represented on the screen for this. So we'll go ahead and start working a little bit here on each of these sections. So the first thing I'll go ahead and put in is a text align center. That will start working on that. I do want to stick, even though that they're kind of right equal here, I want to put a margin auto for right and a margin left of auto. Now, what does auto do? Auto actually sits there and says, hey, take either side and automatically make them the same. So it takes the margins and just says, hey, left and right, make them automatic. Make them the same. So that's basically the easiest way to center different things. And we need a margin bottom here because we need some more space between each of these. So we'll go ahead and make this like 26 pixels. Now that's going to give us a little space in between here, just like that. So this is what it looks like right now. Okay, so we don't have anything here. These are not on the same line yet, but this is nice and centered, looks nice, and both of these are here. Now, do you see how this picture is smaller than this picture? Don't fret about that. The easiest way to get your pictures 100% to line up is to actually edit them to the same size. Okay, and we'll have an editing lesson probably next week on images and stuff of that nature. All right, so we have this right here. Let's go ahead and just do a quick thing here and getting our third image gallery. And remember, we had a class of 3. So on this one right here, remember how I put a class of 3 here? So we're going to go ahead and use that class. And then the images inside that class, I am going to make sure they all have a height of 450 pixels at this point. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that they're all the same here. And then, let's see what else we have here. Let's get this out here. All right, so this one right here, I could stretch this picture if I really wanted to, but like I said, you're not trying to, I would do that in editing on there. All right, so now let's make these all on one line. Why are they on these like here? Because honestly, as soon as I make this slightly smaller, You see how they all come on one line like that? It just means they don't have enough space. So let's get the space that they need. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. All right, so we probably have extra padding in here. Probably between each one of these, and we're really close on this one. I'll hit save on this. Oops, still not there. So what I'm going to go ahead and do on all of this is I have to figure out how much space is here and how much space is here so I can fit this one on. So it is just a matter of really playing around with this until we kind of do that. We can actually come in here and modify some of the spacing here too to get that working. But we'll go ahead and play around with this for a second here. All right, so I looked through my code and I did forget something here in my haste, and that was right up in here. I want to go ahead and put a margin, and I'm going to put this in a long form here. Okay. All this is the top right, bottom left. Okay, so that's what this does right here. So let me just kind of do this. It doesn't matter about the spaces, but maybe it'll help you kind of look and see how everything is. So I'll go ahead and hit save, and boom, that basically goes ahead and makes everything, our little lab pyramid, working just fine. And what that did was it took the margin out. So let's go ahead and get rid of our test stuff right here. We can just delete this border, hit save, and now you have your image gallery. Thanks for watching.